Ever wondered how blockchain technology powers cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, you're not alone. Blockchain is a trailblazing technology that's not just the driving force behind cryptocurrencies. It's a game changer with the potential to revolutionize a myriad of industries. Now, what makes blockchain so groundbreaking? It's all in its distinctive features. First, there's decentralization. Blockchain operates on a peer-to-peer network, with no single institution holding all the power. Then there's transparency. Blockchain networks allow any member of the public to view transactions recorded on their network, leaving no place to hide data. Thirdly, we have immutability. Every transaction recorded on a blockchain network is permanent. It can't be edited, deleted, or reversed. Next is cryptography, ensuring that all transactions and blocks are securely sealed on the network. And finally, the use of a distributed ledger, a shared database that records every transaction accessible to all network participants. So let's dive in and understand these key features in detail. First off, we have decentralization. But what does that mean? In the realm of blockchain, decentralization is a game-changing concept. It's the idea of running a network on a peer-to-peer basis rather than having all the control consolidated in a single central institution. Imagine a bustling city with its citizens going about their daily lives. Each person in that city plays a crucial role, be it the baker, the teacher, the doctor. The city thrives because of the collective efforts of its inhabitants. Similarly, in a decentralized blockchain network, every user is essential to the network's upkeep and security. Now, let's contrast this with a centralized system. In such a system, all the power rests with one governing body or institution. Think of it as a monarchy, where the king or queen holds all the strings. It's their way or the highway. In the digital world, this could be a bank or a large corporation having complete control over a network and its transactions. However, this centralization often leads to bottlenecks, making the system slower and more susceptible to attacks. On the other hand, in a decentralized system, all users have equal power and responsibility. The network is not reliant on a single entity for its functioning. Instead, it's like a well-oiled machine, with each part contributing to the smooth running of the system. This decentralization makes the network more robust and secure. It's harder for hackers to attack, as there's not just one point of failure they can target. Furthermore, in a decentralized blockchain network, every user helps to validate and record transactions. This shared responsibility ensures the integrity of the network, as no single user can manipulate the data. It's a democratic framework where each user's voice matters. So, in a nutshell, decentralization empowers every user in the network. It's not just about distributing power away from a central authority, but also about fostering collaboration, ensuring security, and enhancing efficiency. It's the heart and soul of blockchain, the driving force behind its revolutionary potential. Now, let's talk about transparency in blockchain. In a world where hidden agendas and covert dealings are often the norm, the transparency offered by blockchain technology is a breath of fresh air. Picture a system where every transaction, every exchange, every movement of data is not only recorded, but also openly accessible to each member of the network. That's what transparency in blockchain is all about. But how does it work? Well, every transaction made within the blockchain network is recorded on a digital ledger. This ledger isn't tucked away in some obscure corner of the internet, only accessible to a select few. No, this ledger is open for all to see, inspect, and verify. Each member of the network, regardless of their location or status, can view the transactions recorded on this network. This level of transparency leaves no room for hiding data. It's like having a giant, unblinking eye that keeps a vigilant watch on all transactions. This doesn't mean your personal information is out in the open, of course. While the transaction data is transparent, the identities of the parties involved remain protected. Why is this important, you ask? Because transparency fosters trust and accountability. With every transaction visible to all, there's no room for deceit or foul play. It ensures that every participant in the network behaves responsibly, knowing that their actions are on full display. So, transparency in blockchain ensures accountability and trust. Next up is a feature that gives blockchain its integrity: immutability. Immutability, in the context of blockchain, is a term that signifies the unchanging nature of transactions once they're recorded. It's a bit like writing in permanent ink. Once a transaction is written onto the blockchain, it's there to stay. There's no editing, no deleting, and no reversing. It's a one-way street. What does this mean for the data? Well, it means that once a piece of data is recorded on the blockchain, it becomes a part of the blockchain's history forever. It's like a time capsule, preserving transactions in their original state for all eternity. This is a powerful deterrent against tampering and fraud. If you can't change the data, you can't manipulate it. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I make a mistake? What if I need to reverse a transaction? That's a valid concern. However, the beauty of blockchain is that to correct a mistake, a new transaction must be created to offset the incorrect one. The original transaction remains visible, maintaining a clear and complete history of all transactions. This quality of immutability is fundamental to the trust that users place in blockchain technology. It gives people the confidence to engage in transactions, knowing that once their data is recorded, it's safe from any form of alteration or tampering. Immutability, therefore, ensures the security and integrity of data in blockchain. Another key feature of blockchain technology is cryptography. It's the invisible armor that safeguards the integrity of the blockchain. In its simplest terms, cryptography is a method of protecting information by transforming it into an unreadable format. Only those who possess a secret key can decrypt and access the original information. In the context of blockchain, cryptography is used to secure all transactions and blocks. Each transaction or block, once added to the chain, is sealed cryptographically. This sealing process involves complex mathematical algorithms that convert transaction data into a string of numbers and letters known as a hash. This hash is unique to each block, and any change in the data within the block leads to a completely different hash. This makes tampering with blocks virtually impossible. But how does blockchain ensure the secure transmission of private data? For this, it employs two types of encryption: symmetric and public key encryption. Symmetric encryption, also known as private key encryption, involves the use of a single key for both encryption and decryption. The sender uses this key to encrypt the data, and the receiver uses the same key to decrypt it. While this method is fast and efficient, it poses a challenge in securely sharing the key between the sender and receiver. That's where public key encryption comes into play. In this method, two keys are used: a private key, kept secret by the owner, and a public key, shared with everyone. The sender encrypts the data using the receiver's public key. Upon receiving the encrypted data, the receiver uses his private key to decrypt it. This way, even if the data is intercepted during transmission, it remains secure, as only the receiver's private key can decrypt it. So, you see, cryptography in blockchain is not just about securing data. It's about creating an environment of trust where transactions are both secure and private. It's about ensuring that you, as a participant in a blockchain network, can confidently conduct transactions, knowing that your information is safe from prying eyes. So, cryptography in blockchain ensures that your transactions are secure and private. Last but not least, let's talk about the distributed ledger. When it comes to the blockchain, one cannot overlook the distributed ledger, which is the very foundation of this revolutionary technology. Now, what exactly is a distributed ledger? Simply put, it's a shared database. But it's not your everyday shared database. It's a database where all network participants have access to all transactions. This is where blockchain's philosophy of decentralization comes into play. Unlike traditional databases managed by a single entity, the distributed ledger is controlled by no one individual or institution. Here's the interesting part. Every transaction that takes place within the network is recorded on this ledger. From buying a cup of coffee with Bitcoin to transferring a significant amount of Ethereum, every single transaction is etched into this ledger. But don't worry about your privacy. Each transaction is encrypted and anonymous. Only the transaction details are visible, not the identities of the individuals involved. So, imagine a large, dynamic, digital ledger that is accessible to all network participants, constantly updated in real time and cryptographically secured. That's the distributed ledger for you. This ledger doesn't reside in one central server. Instead, it is spread across multiple nodes, each holding a copy of the entire ledger. This structure offers multiple advantages. It increases the security of the network, as the data is not concentrated in a single location that could be a potential point of failure. It also provides transparency, allowing every participant to see every transaction. This is the beauty of blockchain's distributed ledger. It's like a public library filled with books of transactions. Except these books can't be tampered with, and they are open for everyone to read. Let's not forget, the distributed ledger is not just about recording transactions, it has the potential to revolutionize various sectors from finance to healthcare by providing a secure, transparent, and decentralized way of recording and verifying data. Therefore, the distributed ledger forms the backbone of the blockchain network. So, to wrap up our discussion on blockchain, let's summarize the key features that make this technology truly revolutionary. First, we have decentralization. Blockchain operates on a peer-to-peer network, where each user plays a crucial role in maintaining the network's upkeep and security. Next, we have transparency. The open nature of blockchain networks ensures that all transactions are visible to anyone who wishes to view them, leaving no room to hide data. Then there's immutability. Every transaction recorded on the blockchain can't be edited, deleted, or reversed. This protects the integrity of the data once it's recorded. We also discussed cryptography. Blockchain ensures all transactions and blocks are cryptographically sealed, ensuring the secure transmission of private data. Lastly, we touched on the distributed ledger. Blockchain networks are essentially shared databases that maintain a record of all transactions accessible to all network participants. With these powerful features, it's clear why blockchain is considered a revolutionary technology with the potential to disrupt various sectors.